More than 200 people dead and many still missing. The landslides in Wayanad district of Kerala have left an unimaginable trail of destruction. This week I'm hosting the Let Me Explain show and not Pooja Prasanna, my colleague, and I will look at three things in this show. Using maps, I'll try to explain where the landslide originated and how it wiped out entire settlements. I'll also look at how vulnerable Wayanad is and what rescue officials are trying to do. And finally, we will talk about the natural and human reasons behind a disaster of such scale. The landslide happened in the Meppadi Grama Panchayat of Wayanad district. As you can see on the map, places like Mundakkai, Punjirimattam and Chooralmala are all places in Meppadi. Basically, these are small villages or settlements which are nestled between the Vellarimala hills and the Chooralmala hills. Meppadi has an interesting history. In the late 1700s, it was believed that there was gold in this area and several British troops descended here. The quest for gold, quarrying that is, went on for decades. No gold was found, but the initial outside settlers here were the British and the plantation workers. Meppadi was, till 2 days ago, a bustling tourist spot. It has many resorts and tourists flock to this place throughout the year. See a few of the resorts on the map yourself. Last year, in fact, Wayanad recorded 17 lakh annual footfall of tourists. So what caused the landslide? So from July 28th to July 30th 5 am, areas close to the disaster in Wayanad recorded an unprecedented rainfall of 572 millimeters. Compare this with the highest single-day rainfall in the past few years. In 2023, it was 176. 2022, it was 170. 2021, it was 176. So there was a massive downpour in a short period. Remember the Chennai floods of 2015? On December 1st, the city was heavily flooded after receiving 494 millimeters of rainfall in a span of 24 hours. Now back to the map. So the heavy rains triggered a landslide in the Mundakkai hills. A landslide is defined as the movement of a mass of rock, debris or earth down a slope. This landslide is believed to have originated around 3 to 6 kilometers away from the Mundakkai town on top of the hills. The hill that is blanketed by trees collapsed and it came tumbling down. The Punjirimattam ward was one of the first to be hit. The landslide carried along with it several houses at Punjirivattam and it crashed on the Mundakkai village. The landslide caused the river to swell to such an extent that there was a 15-meter high debris flow which tore through the streets of Mundakkai. This debris then rushed downhill and it dripped through the Chooralmala village, which is 2.5 kilometers away. This is the Chooralmala village. The current in the river was so strong that the river sort of widened and there were two streams. As the water, the rocks and the debris came down, more places were hit, like Attamala here on the map. Another place that was impacted was Vellarimala. Here there was a government girls' school. A lot of people we spoke to say that they were saved by this school as it sort of shielded them from the impact. The school has been completely destroyed. Let's now look at the impact of the landslide. In Mundakkai alone, 550 houses have been destroyed. All that remains here is around 15 houses and a church. 60 houses were destroyed in Chooralmala. Chooralmala has almost been completely wiped out. All the people here just killed in their sleep. The landslide was so powerful that bodies were dragged all the way to Nilambur through the Chalia river that you can see on the map. Dismembered bodies and body parts have been recovered from 12 to 20 kilometers away. This was a visual my colleague Cora Abraham recorded of ambulances bringing bodies from Nilambur to Meppadi. Now let's move on to the rescue operations. The Wayanad landslide has been the most devastating one that Kerala has ever seen, and even rescue operations have been tough. The only bridge connecting Mundakkai to Chooralmala was destroyed. So first, a temporary bridge had to be built so that machinery and rescuers could be taken to Mundakkai and people from there could be brought. The army and fire force then built a zip line to which dead bodies could be tied and they could transport them. The challenge that rescuers are facing now is to find survivors. According to the Kerala government, on August 1st afternoon, 200 people are still missing, which means they are under the debris, either dead or alive. More JCBs, cutting machines, and even dog squads are being deployed. And the hope is that they will find at least a few people alive. The Wayanad landslide has been devastating, and we have to speak about the natural and human causes behind such a huge disaster. We have spoken to several experts. Geologist Dr. Soman Kunyapillai told us that the landslide in itself was a natural phenomenon. The western ghats have acidic oil, and the rocks here are naturally fractured, which means they're divided into two or more pieces by joints or faults, and that's part of a natural geological process. Now, when rainwater accumulates in these fractures, it can lead to soil saturation, and the water at some point will burst out, leading to landslides. In fact, Dr. Soman also said that the recent landslide has exposed angular rocks on the riverbank. That is proof of previous landslides in this location, which could have happened many years ago. What was, however, unnatural was the excessive rainfall. Rainfall is increasing every year, and we are sort of unaware of how much it will increase in the coming years due to climate change. But these areas, which are eco-sensitive, have been turned into human settlements. Dr. Soman was in fact pointing out that Mundakkai and Chooralmala, where the landslide did maximum damage, are situated on the banks of the river. These are flat or level surfaces which are called river terraces in geological terms. The river must have shrunk at some point and people began living there. But when there was heavy rainfall, the river reclaimed its territory. And this is where we need to speak about all those environmental studies done by QSAT, Q4, CES on the Madhav Gadgil report and the Kasturirangan report, all of which clearly said that many places in Wayanad are eco-sensitive zones where landslides and landslips can happen. Not just that, the way the soil has loosened because of tea plantations and constructions, the landslides can become even more devastating. But all these reports have always been kept on the back burner due to political pressure, due to pressure from local groups, and lack of political will. And instead, construction has gone on in all these areas. What Kerala needs urgently is a better weather prediction system. Home Minister Amit Shah may claim that alerts were given, but the truth is that only an orange rain alert was there for July 29th. What this underscores, as the story by Jisha Surya tells us, is the need for a second Doppler radar that can be used to track clouds, weather systems, and measure rainfall. The existing Doppler radar located in Kochi is inadequate to cover the northern parts of the state. Kerala also urgently needs more automated weather stations or AWS that can collect real-time data of rainfall, wind, and humidity. The Kerala State Disaster Management Authority, or KSDMA, has said 4 years ago that people in this region have to be shifted out. But it wasn't done. And of course, it's not an easy decision to make. But the Wayanad landslide should force the people of Kerala and the government to ask tough questions to themselves. Are these places suitable to have residential townships? Should only farming be allowed here? That too, of crops which are selected after a careful scientific study. How can we restore the forest cover? Let's hope this tragedy will force the government and people to have a serious rethink. That's all from me this week on Let Me Explain. But I want to tell you that my colleagues Shabir Ahmed, Harita John, and Cora Abraham are in Wayanad. Do watch the reports and read their stories. Remember, we are a completely ad-free platform. It is only due to your subscriptions and your contributions to our reporting fund that people like Harita, Cora, and Shabir could travel to Wayanad. So do remember to make your contributions and do keep watching the News Minute.